Hello, my name is Jane Feng. I'm a real estate investor with over 10 years of real estate investing experience who quit her full-time IT professional job and started a real estate brokerage with a few partners. Because I like real estate investing so much, I wanted to dedicate my full time into real estate investing. Today in this video, we're going to talk about why is it important to use an Ontario Standard Lease. For some people, you may not even realize that we have a Ontario Standard Lease. Ever since February 7, 2018, the Ontario Ministry of Housing released a standard lease, and we just call it Ontario Standard Lease. You can download it from, just Googling the website. And the standard lease is written in plain English so that it is easier for landlords and tenants to understand the rights and responsibility under the Residential Tenancy Act. It is also an attempt to reduce illegal and unenforceable terms in tenancy agreements and lessen the numbers of dispute seeking resolution at the Landlord and Tenant Board. As a landlord, we must use an Ontario Standard Lease, okay? We must use it. You could have additional terms attached to the standard lease, but we must start with the standard lease, okay? There's no exception. What are the consequences if you do not use the standard lease? So if you do not use the standard lease, what are the problems or the consequences? If landlord does not provide the tenant with a standard lease, the tenant is actually allowed to withhold 1 month of rent. Okay, they can withhold your rent, or they can give the landlord a 60 days notice to end their tenancy early. Okay, so you will be wondering, oh my God, I just started a tenancy, I rented it to a new tenant, and I didn't know that I have to use a standard lease. Don't worry, if you didn't use a standard lease from the beginning, you actually have 21 days to provide one after the tenant makes a written request. If you couldn't provide one after 21, within 21 days, the tenants can actually withhold 1 month rent or give a 60 days termination notice for the tenancy. And after the tenant withhold the rent, landlord has 30 days to provide the standard lease. So you still have 30 days. And if you still didn't provide the standard lease after the 30 days, after the tenant withhold the rent, then the tenant actually does not have to repay you the rent. Okay, they can withhold the rent and don't have to repay it at all. However, the tenant is only allowed to withhold 1 month rent, and they are expected to continue to pay the rest of the other rents. Okay, so they cannot say withhold the entire tenancy's rent. They can only withhold 1 month, and they don't have to repay you if you fail to give them an Ontario Standard Lease within the 30 days. Okay, so let's pretend that we be a good citizen, you provide a standard lease after the 21 days of the written request, but the tenant does not agree with the terms that you provide. Then at that time, the tenant has the option to give you a 60 days notice to end their tenancy early. However, the tenants can only do that if it is within 30 days of the standard lease being provided. Okay, so in summary, one thing to remember, if this is too complicated, is when you start a tenancy term with a tenant, just start with a standard lease to begin with and add additional terms to it so that you don't have to be in the situation where the tenants could hold up the rent and then they don't have to repay you if you didn't follow a certain date. Just to avoid all these problems to begin with, just use a Ontario Standard Lease to start, then there's no problem. So I hope this information is useful for you. And if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, If you're interested to buy any investment properties or commercial properties or sell or lease, please feel free to give me a call. My website can be accessed through this QR code, which is www.janefone.ca, and my phone number is 647-872-0238. Feel free to give me a call anytime. I love chatting. And I also have something called the Real Estate Treasure Map. Our team will review and select properties that have different investment potential and add them to the treasure map on a regular basis. If you're interested to see what kind of good investment properties out there, sign up on my website and download the treasure map. Thank you very much and have a good day.